This following video is presented by Presence Consulting Group, where we commit ourselves to your project's success. For more information, please visit our website at www.presencecg.com. Today, our technical topic is configuring SharePoint Security in IronSpeed Designer. And our presenter is IronSpeed MVP Herman Chan. For questions after seeing the video, please email Herman at herman.chan@presencecg.com.
Hi everyone, thanks for watching our IronSpeed video training series. Today I want to show you how to configure SharePoint Security for applications generated by IronSpeed Designer. Microsoft SharePoint has quickly become a major platform for corporations to build team sites, department sites, or project sites to facilitate collaborations among teammates and project personnel. Inevitably, security has become a necessary concern. There are going to be items such as sensitive financial statements or human resources related documents that need to be secured. And this has spawned the popular usage of SharePoint security groups. IronSpeed Designer let us generate SharePoint applications. And naturally, we want to reuse those groups instead of creating our own within our own database, so that we can provide a consistent use experience from the security perspective. Purchasing agents under the SharePoint purchasing group can now see only purchasing pages, and maintenance folks under the maintenance SharePoint group can only see maintenance pages. By using those groups, administrators don't need to maintain two sets of records and potentially run into the scenario of determining which one is the master record. And if your application, your IronSpeed generated SharePoint applications is not currently using that approach, you might want to consider that. Without further ado, let's fire up our system and get our hands dirty.
Okay, the first thing I want to do is add a Windows user. So let me go to the Active Directory user interface. Okay, and now I'm going to right click on users, go to new, and start adding users. The first guy I want to add would be PCG add, and this is later going to be used as our user to add records under IronSpeed application. Setting up his password, and for testing I'm just going to do password never expires. Okay, I'm going to add a second user to run different scenarios, and this time I'm going to add PCG admin. Same thing, and I'm going to set to password never expires 2, because those are dummy accounts. Okay, so let's jump back to our IronSpeed Designer. Now we're going to generate a new application. Opening up the application wizard, this time we're going to choose SharePoint application, and let me select my SQL Server instance. It's going to be on my 2008 SQL Server 2008 instance. I'm going to use the asset management demo database, just like every other time, almost every other time in our IronSpeed video tutorial series. I'm going to choose just 3 tables: asset family, manufacturer, and product. Okay, let me see where I should put my test app. I'm probably going to put it under my temp folder, and I already have 2, so I'm going to name it my app 3. Okay, and I'm gonna application type. I'm gonna choose web application for Microsoft SharePoint and inline SQL statements. Click finish, and it's being generated. Okay, so as you can see, this is a new application, SharePoint application being generated by IronSpeed Designer, and it already has the SharePoint style, and all the pages are being rendered correctly. Okay, jumping back to the SharePoint team site. This is a team site we're going to deploy the SharePoint application on, and this is the port number 25909. I'm going to add two groups, SharePoint groups. One is called PCG admin group _SP, and notice that this is SharePoint user group that I'm adding, not Windows group. And I'm going to click create and add this group. And then the next group that I'm going to add is the PCG add group _SP. Those two groups are going to contain the two Windows user that we have just added under Active Directory. In this case, I'm just going to select all the permissions, and those permissions has nothing to do with the permissions that we're going to grant on the IronSpeed application side. Those are really for the document list living within your team site. So now I'm adding users. I'm going to add PCG add to this group. Click on check name to verify. OK. And then I'm going to add PCG admin, check name to verify such user exists, and add him to this SharePoint group. Okay, so let me get back to IronSpeed Designer and run through the security wizard. On the first page, I'm going to choose Microsoft SharePoint. On this page, there are two approaches that we can pick. One is by using the web services, and in this case, as you can see, I've already used that before. By using web services, I can pull up all these groups. And let me go back. And the other approach is by using the database server, by looking at the SharePoint database instances. Let me pick my SharePoint database server for the SharePoint. And as you can see, IronSpeed can actually detect what SharePoint database instances there are, and in this case I'm picking 25909 for my application. And the same thing, by going through the database, IronSpeed can detect all these groups as well. And in this case, I'm going to set all the pages to be accessible for everyone except for 3 pages. The add pages could only accessed by users under the PCG add group _SP, which is a SharePoint user group. I'm going to set it, and then later on I would dissect this page a little more and explain. So let's go through with our scenario first. Let me click on next and finish. To keep this video's focus on security configuration, I've already deployed the application that we just generated onto my SharePoint environment. For step-by-step instructions, you can go to ironspeed.com online help part 6. It talks about all these deployment options and it gives you details on those. I might later have a separate video on that topic, so please stay tuned. So right now I'm jumping back to my SharePoint site. Note that I've already deployed my app 3 and add a link on top. One thing to note is that IronSpeed Configure Security for its SharePoint applications does not work if you're pulling up the site independently. It has to live under the SharePoint environment, reside within it, in order to see how the security works out, and you will see that in a moment. So I'm going to open up the site. Right now I'm logging in by default, administrator of this computer. So I'm signing in as a different user. I'm going to first use the PCG admin, which is the Windows user that we have created at the very beginning of this video, and who is also under the PCG admin group _SP, which is the SharePoint user group. Okay, under the SharePoint site I'm PCG admin, and I'm going to log out from this page, from this link, and clicking on OK will refresh my credentials. And as you can see now, within the generated application I'm PCG admin, and when I click on the add link, I'm go to the forbidden page. The reason I was on the forbidden page is that the admin is not under the add group, and that's why I'm not able to see the add page. However, I can see the edit page. And let me go back to the show page. So let me now log in as the add person, and you can see the difference. So PCG add is the Windows user that we have also created, who is under the PCG add group _SP, the SharePoint group. So now I want to sign out from the application. Click on OK to refresh the credentials. As you can see now, I'm signing in into the application as PCG add. So let me go to the add page. See, now I can access the add page, and I can also access the add page of the manufacturer. The reason why I can access those pages because I'm now assuming the PCG add user identity. Before I complete today's video on configuring SharePoint security, I want to take a moment to dissect the different sections or nodes under the Pages tab of the Security Wizard. When you get to this screen, the first node is All Sites, and in this case we are administering page security based on SharePoint groups across all site collections under any web application. In other words, if Team 1 site and Team 2 site have a SharePoint group of the same name, such as visitors, it will show up here as one item. And when you grant page access, you are granting access to members either under Team 1 visitors or Team 2 visitors. The next node is what I call Team Collection node. In this case, we are administering page security based on SharePoint groups on one site collection under any web application. Therefore, we are specifically administering the page access of members of Team 1 visitors versus Team 2 visitors. Okay, and the last node is specific web application. In this case, we are restricting page access to the deployed, generated SharePoint web application. So if you run through the security wizard, in our example, HP-900V:1234, and try to deploy it on, let's say, HP-9000V:5678, which is another web application, SharePoint web application, the security will not work. For details or convenient quick glance, I have also prepared an IronSpeed SharePoint security cheat sheet, and it is available on our website presentcg.com. Again, thank you for watching our videos training series today, and see you next time.